Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to talk today about my work from home office setup. This took a lot of months. I spend more than 40% of my life on my desk, so this is important, and that's why I talk about this. I'm a person that is typically modern and minimalist. Minimalism has been popular because it tends to offend no one. It's simple, economical, and essential. But the more I did it, the more fake I felt. Another YouTuber named Matt Diavella just spoke about the decline of minimalism. And I think he's onto something. When I started building this office desk, I started thinking, was that the wrong solution for me? Was there something better that I could use to kind of use as a philosophy? Look at this trend for maximalism, the opposite of minimalism. During the outbreak and the increasing acceptance of work from home, I saw society and myself going through a transformation. So this year, I felt my desk needed to be every complicated thing I needed to do. Just plop everything onto the desk environment so I have it at any time. The nice thing about maximalism is nothing is off the table. According to Pinterest data, people are searching for maximalism decor 5 times more now than they were over a year ago. It's rising during the outbreak. The mantra of it is more is more. Maximalism is a path that highlights who you are. It prioritizes things that are comforting to you, demonstrates who you are uniquely and in all of its complexity, sometimes with very, very bold colors and a strong sense of curated consumerism. This has demonstrated that people were collecting items that were resonating with them in their outside lives. Hobbies, needs, and passions were being reconsidered and being brought back in, bringing the outside in, not by reduction, but by addition. NVIDIA GTX 390 is constantly out of stock for gamers. Sold out Pelotons for all those SoulCycle fans. This idea can easily become negatively associated with excess, spending more, and messiness. But also it's not a requirement, and really it's not the core. At its core, it's about focusing on the things you love in a tasteful way. I mean, IKEA is even getting on this bandwagon. I mean, look at these new patterns that they have. Mark Twain once said, "I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead." It's easy to interpret this as short is better, the modern and minimalist approach. But what if you just didn't have the time and it wasn't a priority? You got the job done, so why waste time and just do something more meaningful? I'm starting to realize that the surprising waste of time and effort and maintenance required to keep things simple, minimal, and elegant in places like my home or a Pinterest board was actually not that productive. An article I read from Apartment Therapy mentioned that maximalism is often more practical for people in their day-to-day lives than minimalism. To be a maximalist office, I summed up these 3 rules. Number 1, be bold and loud about the things you love. Number 2, curate, don't clutter. Number 3, represent who you are. It's time to show you, through these rules, my Marie Kondo nightmare and spark my own joy. So number 1, be bold about the things you love. The thing about complicated desks is that if you know what's on it by heart, it's okay because it works for you. Einstein would agree with his messy desk. And also Casey Neistat with his all-functioning studio. When you want to be a maximalist, you raise the volume on your interests. It's not always about high fashion, couture, crazy colors, or cheetah prints. Hiding away things in minimalism is also like hiding away the doing. And ironically, things get more complicated because you have to take more steps to start something. If I want to film something, would I have to look in another shelf and pull something out again and again and again? How much time does that take? Why not just have everything out? Why not just have it out the whole time? I much prefer an office setup about doing, because that's me. Execution, execution. execution. Number 2, curate, don't clutter. For me, I love high-end tech.
So great. Oh God. Yeah.
At my fingertips, every knob, button, and control was going to make this battle station a reality. I curated all sorts of tech that had meaning, utility, and history for me. This is the heart, a gaming creator-grade laptop with superior connectivity to devices. The Asus ZenBook Pro Duo. It was the first of its kind to have 2 monitors on a single laptop. And so I have a switch that can actually cover over 10 camera angles. I don't have 10 at the moment, but maybe in the future. The recording eyes of this setup are all Sony. My history with Sony goes back to when I was a budding filmmaker with the VX2000 and the PD100. I have a 4K Sony a7 III for this filming, this particular angle. Zoom calls where I don't have to look at the monitor. I'm not looking down at the monitor, but directly at people or things I'm talking about. There's an overhead cam above for any showcase of items on the table. Now this is probably my most favorite camera at the moment. Probably the best vlogging camera that I think is on the market at the moment. And an editing setup in my main office, and a gear wall of my dreams. Audio and the audio recording of this setup, this podcast style microphone, the legendary SM7B, part of the SM7 series that Michael Jackson used. Legendary industry standard boom mic overhead, the Sennheiser MKH416. I was taught to appreciate the power of sound and story by the person who invented the sound standard known as THX. I had to get something THX certified, a high-end monolith DAC, to power my Sony signature top-end headphone and Sennheiser A100S headphones for studio work and monitoring. Rodecaster Pro for mixing and casting, and also conference calls as my main interface for audio. Great audio engine speakers just for enjoyment. I wanted to create the right lighting style for my setup, which would include lighting that could fit a frontal shot right here and also an overhead shot coming down. I wanted to do something a little non-conventional. I used a Roger Deakins style cove lighting as fill using stand-up bounce boards to create an overall atmosphere of softened natural light. And then a quad monitor setup to view everything. I have a 10G connection here with this device, and then also 10G enterprise switch for the sake of 10G transfer speeds to my 10G NAS. I can seamlessly edit between 2 computers, whether in my garage or my main office. Really awesome seat by Logitech and Herman Miller. I've always been a huge fan of them. And I have cable management that started out okay, but just evolved into a jungle, so I just let that be. Number 3, represent who I am. Now I can be a video creator who could film from 3 angles, frontal, top, and dynamic shots, into my computer or directly into the cameras. Number 2, I can be a professional who does conference calls worldwide with investors, partners, colleagues, business people, and can look good doing it with the best source of audio, lighting, and video equipment. Number 3, a gamer who has fast equipment, tactile, and awesome visual feedback. Number 4, a day trader who could use 4 monitors to observe the market, buy the fucking dip, and make a little money. Thanks, LKS. And a foodie and otaku that just had a little more space to eat and watch anime and possibly film a mukbang ASMR in his garage. Accepting my differing and conflicting personas easily through this desk was my goal. A do-everything machine that basically says, I'm complicated and I don't want to dress up, so I'm just gonna bear it all. So this is my maximalist self in a nutshell. The 2020s are starting to rear itself as a maximalist explosion of individualism, especially as we stay at home. And perhaps this video may give you ideas on how you can focus on the things you love. This is no longer striving for perfection like minimalism asks for. about cutting the fat, reducing clutter to spark joy. It's about showing you who you are and all the flaws that are beautiful. Authenticity is a true expression of yourself and the thing that you can be most comfortable with. And what better place to be yourself than at home? What I learned from this is that you don't have to live in extremes like minimalism or maximalism. Just be you. Minimalism was a rejection of what people perceived as garish wealth and excess. But yet, now minimalism is now seen as rich people's game. Look at Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. Which means that minimalism and maximalism is not tied to people's wealth or economic situation, but more about a style of approach that is suitable for you. So that's my room tour. Many parts of this setup were inspired by a multitude of people on YouTube that I admire. Thanks to all of you for inspiring me to create this abomination. This all-in-one Swiss Army knife. For me, it was not about reduction anymore, but visual and love-intended splendor, and ultimately happiness. I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you did, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. It would help me out a lot and the algorithm. If you want to keep up to date with my odd adventures in finding things that make life better. It's time to surround yourself with the things you love. No judgment, just all you.